Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Darrel Long Show, and with your other host, me, Gently, Koi K. We have a good one today. Of course, also Officer Tatum is back in the blogs or on the screen. He's saying a lot. He done made his way all the way up. Is this Piers Morgan?
Yeah, it's 10 months ago.
He done made his way all the way to Piers Morgan.
He's been there a few times now. He's been there a few times.
Now, why would this show of its caliber
invite him on?
Yeah.
You know why.
But I know why. So there's no, yeah.
You know why.
I know. That's
because they think the same.
Yeah, really?
This episode,
Piers don't think he's smart.
No. They're both either racist or do you think Piers Morgan's racist? I think he is. Definitely racist adjacent, right? Inviting them on, inviting Myron on to use the N-word. But nevertheless, this video was right after Charlie Kirk died. You guys know Charlie Kirk anniversary of his death is coming up in about 2 or 3 weeks. And Charlie Kirk, he received a whole bunch of bad publicity. Even I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? He died. I felt bad for him. My wife did not. My wife was sending out emojis, laughing at him.
I did not send out emojis. I was not laughing at him. I just said that I didn't care. Like I felt nothing.
So it was never a text message thread where I text you and said Charlie Kirk is dead, because at first remember he was in the hospital, and then it wasn't like a cheer, like a person cheering and chanting.
No,
it was nothing like that at all.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. You're the only person that I was the only one that you spoke to about. You spoke to a whole bunch of other people. Like no, I didn't do that.
Hold on, man, because you're playing on my top now. Have him walk around.
Just told him pick him up. He's scared to hold him. Pick him up.
Matt, pick him up and walk around.
And make sure you hold him tight.
Put Aegon inside of his thing. Pick the baby.
No, Aegon is in a chair.
All right, take the baby and walk around. But don't just sit down with him and while he cries for like 10, 15 minutes straight. We shouldn't have to tell you that either.
Put his pasty in his mouth.
Let me see. Charlie Kirk.
Do we really need to go back and search for this? Like, I don't think we need to go back and search for this.
Yeah, this is you. Charlie Kirk died officially, and you sent this, and it said yes, yes, yes of a white girl.
I don't remember that, but okay.
This white girl jumping and it said yes, yes, yes.
I don't remember that, but okay.
It's literally in the. I'm just not showing you.
I just said I don't remember that.
And then
okay.
After that, you sent this message of this woman right here dancing. Right after I said Charlie Kirk died officially, you sent both of those gifts.
I don't personally, like I said, I don't remember sending it, but you got the receipt, so okay.
Like I was saying, Charlie Kirk and his family was dealing with a whole bunch of shit regarding his death. Right now, what doesn't make that okay is for people like Officer Tatum, and I forgot the white cop name who was going everywhere defending him and not talking about Tyler Robinson, but talking about the black community, which we had nothing to do with. I'm gonna get on your ass later. But you, Officer Tatum, was asked the question by Carl Stefanovic, where he asked, well, I think Charlie Kirk was racist. Do y'all think Charlie Kirk was racist? Because that nigga definitely said niggas like you was better off doing slavery. Now, Brandon, you said the clip didn't exist. You know why I'm doing this live stream today with this little pre-recording? Because I have the clip. I have the clip. I have the entire argument. Let's go ahead and get straight to this. Hold on.
And about the murder of Charlie Kirk that were done by the violent left. Are you willing to say that as well?
There's an investigation happening right now. There's a trial.
Let me say something, Pierce. Let me say something, Pierce. Hold on. Let me say something, Pierce. Do you got the two liberals on the show? Do you think that Charlie Kirk was a racist?
Yes, he said that black people were better off during slavery.
No. Do you think that Charlie Kirk spewed hatred?
First of all, you got to allow people to answer questions, right? You asking two or three different questions at one time because you know that man was a racist. Let somebody answer the fucking question. Is Charlie Kirk a racist? He said yes. No. Did Charlie Kirk spew racist? Allow somebody to answer the question. Y'all who are really bad at this YouTube stuff, y'all have a real bad problem with that. And it's usually either one of two things. You're highly emotional or you know you're wrong. And in this case with Brandon Tatum, I think it's both. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll say it to you. He thought you, as a black man, were better off during slavery.
The foolery that you're saying right now is what got him killed. The leftist nut jobs pushing the same stupidity that you're saying right now is the reason why Tyler Robinson killed Charlie. This is exactly the same thing. You should be condemned.
You can't criticize somebody.
Silly.
So you're saying
you can't lie. You cannot lie about
any criticism.
What is he lying about? I mean, you asked him a question, so I would like for him to elaborate on the question that you asked. What is he lying about? And if you're asking him the question, first let him finish the statement. I refuse to call him an officer. He is no longer an officer. We're just gonna call him Mr. Tatum.
If you level any criticism of somebody, then you are responsible for their death?
You can't lie about them. The lies is what caused a person like Tyler Robinson to kill Charlie. Lies. He was not racist. He was not hateful. He did not spew hate. He was a man of courage. And he had integrity, and he was fair. If you disagree with him, he let you go to the front of the line, and you can have your disagreement.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now listen, 100%.
Excuse me?
Have your disagreement.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now listen, 100%.
You believe 100%?
Now what? Wait,
you were
after
better off
slavery. Let me explain.
So this question pops up twice, right? I had my Chat GPT and Gemini both go through the transcripts. Where it popped up first, it should be the 31 mark. Yep. And then it's going to pop up officially again at 35 minutes, 22 seconds, which I did send that over to Taz and Nyla so they can review that since they go in at Tatum too. I just emailed them that about 30, 40 minutes ago. So this is the bad argument that he's going to make that, well, black people were not committing crimes at that time. Black people had better families at that time, right? They were all working together in the same black communities, but he failed to leave out so many nuances why this is happening. I'll give an example. Black men were not committing crimes like breaking and entering into white people's homes because they already knew the consequence of that wasn't going to jail. Consequence of that was getting hanged. That's just the facts. White racism had a chokehold on everything from the economy to the church to morals to science to medicine, you name it.
Maybe you don't know black history. No. You don't understand black history, and you don't understand what Charlie was saying. Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion of success in the black community. We had Black Wall Street. We were married to the women we had children with. Black people had a tremendous amount of success. Our success was growing faster than white people during that period of time.
Our success was never growing faster than white people in this country. The idea that there was an explosion of success right after slavery is a lie.
That's crazy.
Black Wall Street, you know how long Black Wall Street existed, like how it actually was? It was less than 5 years. They didn't have an opportunity for their children to even benefit from what they created. They didn't even get a chance to benefit from what they created because what they created was destroyed. You want to bring up Rosewood? You want to bring up Tulsa? What else you want to bring up? Atlanta at some point? Like all these different neighborhoods are plagued with gentrification, with white and small hat communities being basically the backers of all the money. If you control the loans of a business, you control that business. If you control the business, you control who can hire. You control essentially the entire city. Literally. Everything Officer Tatum saying right now is a complete lie. Everything that Charlie Kirk said was a complete lie. That's just the facts. I've made up my mind that I'm going to take a break from the little petty sector. I'm going to spend the rest of the year on Kirk and Tatum and my wife. Let's go.
Tom, now look at us. Now go look at any inner city in this country, and you see people getting murdered every weekend. The leading cause of murders in this country is by black people. Violent crimes, black people. Abortion at disproportionate rates, black people. A lot of things that were going well in our communities.
Why didn't you mention crimes against children? Why stop at the crimes that black people only rank in? Why not go to sex trafficking, right? Sexual assault against minors, right? Why not bring Tim Tebow on the show? And Tim Tebow would tell you who is the number one threat to minors and young girls in his eyes right now is a white man. You bringing up things like abortion. How does abortion impact? How does a black woman in Chicago having an abortion impact Piers Morgan in England? Or you, for that matter, in Texas? How does it impact you? It doesn't. It doesn't. a woman, let's say Brenda, when Brenda had her baby, she threw him in the trash can. It didn't impact nobody else in New York City. I don't give a fuck. I ain't give a fuck. And if you really cared about the women and the people you talk about, you would just stop talking, bro. You would stop doing content like this. Your content is very hateful. And when I see people like Queen Sheba and Melanie and everybody else starting to get triggered by it, your end is about to come, because you're getting so big with this hate shit. It reminded me of Tommy back in like 2013, 2011. It's going to become a problem, right? This is what's going to happen to you. The AKAs, the Deltas, the Zetas, the SG rows, right? They're all going to come together. All the women are going to come together. I'm talking about the most powerful women in our country: judges, lawyers, doctors, journalists, business owners. They're going to tear you down from within, bro. The same way they did Tommy ass. And eventually, they're going to hold companies like Google accountable and YouTube accountable. Hey, are you allowing this? Because if you're allowing this, we need to check for hate and discrimination.
I don't even understand the reason for pointing out what's wrong in the community. Like, okay, so if all of that is happening, now what? What are you gonna do? Because everything has a cause. Like, I don't even understand why he feels the need to like point all of that out. It's so weird to me. Because he's not gonna do anything. Yeah, like
he's a raccoon.
Yeah, like it's not gonna do anything. You saying all of that, and you can literally. I always say all roads lead to slavery.
But he's talking about murder. When you look in predominantly white communities, the murder rate is high too, right?
It's about the same.
And guess who's murdering other white people?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Like we already, like us intelligent people already know these stupid arguments. Yeah, these arguments about ratio, right? If I go to Africa, right, there's going to be more black people killing black people. If I go to Japan, there's going to be more Japanese people killing Japanese people, right? If I go to, I don't know, where Charlie Kirk died again? Utah? Yeah. I guarantee you there's more white people killing white people versus black people killing white people in Utah. And again, they're doing the same shit that Charlie Kirk was doing. This is why, as much as y'all don't like, y'all kick bro off y'all channel, Amazing Lucas, but y'all will allow this nigga on y'all show? Yeah. Y'all see, and I agree, sometimes Amazing Lucas, he go too far. I do, and I put this in his chat, and I have been on his show a few times, so I think we have some type of, good rapport between the two of us. I did think putting Charlie Kirk last words on a t-shirt with the neck going sideways was diabolical. If that had happened to Amazing Lucas while he was out, and somebody did that, I would think, nigga, that's fucking crazy, right? But in his defense, y'all weaponize motherfuckers like this, and Nick Fuentes. How else can somebody combat people like this who is complete ignorant and racist outside of going complete ignorant and racist on their own? So now he's gonna say, you know what, Charlie Kirk last words was, what about gang violence, Pop? By a non-gang member conservative white boy. Child.
It's going downhill fast after the 60s. And it's because we've been voting for these sorry Democrats for so many.
Oh my God. More fucking pandering for your political party. And it's not even about, I don't even think you even grew up a Republican or a conservative. I think you grew up like every other black person, a Democrat. But when you realize people like Anton and others were getting paid for this conservative grift, that's when this shit became, let me just start talking shit about the Democrats every single night, every single fucking day. Let's go.
Years and they've done nothing for black people. And you cannot tell me, as somebody who knew Charlie, that he was a racist. He wasn't. I knew him very well. We did a whole bunch of incredible things in the black community. He helped out with Blacks at Our Black nonprofit that helped the black community. We took 400 black conservatives to the White House for the first time in history. So don't you say nothing about Charlie being a racist unless you have evidence. Outside of that, you're lying and you're pushing conspiracies that got Charlie Kirk killed.
Charlie Kirk said that the Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. He said that
I agree
Martin
with
Luther
him.
King Jr. was awful and not a good person.
I agree with him. As a black man in America,
that's on you.
History,
that's your prerogative to say that, but you don't get to say because you agree with him that somehow that wasn't a racist thing to say. You are not racist. Like, you are not the
just because you're a black man and you say it's not racist, we not the stupid white people that you serve. We understand that it's still racist. Stupid. Just like, let me give you an example I know you can understand. I love doing this with my wife, right? Let me give you an example I know you can understand. When the Democrats said that Charlie Kirk deserved to get smoked, that was still fucked up, right? You see, I can still be on this side and admit when some shit is goofy and admit when it's wrong. You cannot. Your mans was racist. Whether that was your mans or not, your mans was racist. Your mans was stupid. Your mans had no education. Your mans with no college degrees. Your man tried to go to the Army Academy and all the rest of that shit and drop and basically couldn't even get in because he wasn't actually smart. He was a person who fucking pushed talking points, and because of his white skin, he was able to get through certain doors. Thank God for other white males like this young man who is being honest about saying, you know what? Yeah, you know what? This nigga was a racist. He went that black predominant figures. He talked about DEI and made it seem like it was for black people, knowing if you look at you can go to any AI, go to any professor, go to anybody who actually wrote anything about the bill, and they say this bill benefited white women more than anybody else. But you make it seem like it's about black women. That's why we're about to get on your ass, bro. Right? Listen, and for the record, I don't ever want to debate Tatum. Like, y'all can have that clout shit. I'm good, bro. Know that right now, I'm not the one, bro. I just want to go ahead and embarrass you. So every time you do a video, I'm gonna be reacting to it. That's right. And we're gonna throw the thumbnail over this just to make sure we don't get no copyrights or the rest of that. I know how y'all get down, right? I know how y'all get down. This one, I don't got the thumbnail on, but the next one, I'm gonna have the thumbnail on the whole time because I know how y'all get down. Copyright strikes, privacy strikes, because y'all can't really compete when it comes to intellect, and you can't really compete when it comes to facts. Y'all like lies, and I don't like that shit.
How what is or isn't racist just because you agree with something that is objectively racist.
You're not the arbiter of somebody having an opinion about a certain policy that's been put in place where he has evidence. When you cannot deny what he's saying is true. Martin Luther King was a whoremonger.
I can.
Martin Luther King pushed communism. Martin Luther King was a whoremonger, and those are the things that
Martin Luther King was a what, nigga?
Pushed communism. Martin Luther King was a whoremonger.
I can.
Martin Luther King pushed communism. Martin Luther King was a whoremonger, and
hey, no cap. If I ever see you, we're gonna have real smoke for these words. I can't even say nothing else outside of this. But if I ever bump into you, we're gonna have real smoke about what you just said about Dr. Martin Luther King, my nigga. I'm putting that on your mama, nigga, and your white wife, nigga, and your ugly ass white kids, boy. And that's on everything. Y'all gonna have to learn that there's a consequence to be paid. And I've been telling myself this for a while. Cause my OGs, not my OGs solid niggas. But the OGs in general, they have failed us. They are not keeping up with the times. Back in the day, there was punishment when a man used his words like this and his tongue like this. And I feel like nobody else is serving that punishment. So I'm gonna pray to God that he instilled me with the money and wealth and power I need so I can be that OG to punish these niggas. We need to start doing niggas the way it was back in the day. No honor, no respect. Only person that's benefiting off all this circus shit that niggas like him doing is the white people that own YouTube. They're the only niggas that's benefiting off this shit. As soon as somebody starts talking about Jewish people, they shut that shit down. They let niggas talk about coon shit. That's why the baby made his argument. Hold on. So I can talk about killing niggas in every song, but I talk about gay people once and I get canceled. That's crazy. So y'all cool with me making a song about killing my people. But if I just say, shout out to all the heterosexual people, that's a fucking problem. Then you really start to see who your really enemy. Just because they paying you and provide you with a better life, don't mean they not worse off. Then you got to rethink. They're doing all of this for white nationalism. What is black people doing about us sticking together, bro? It's a ongoing thing because black people see it. They know that we have a whole race of people against our race, but instead of just sticking together, they still choose individualism, just like Brandon Tatum is doing, and just like Myron Gaines. Hey, Myron, man, we appreciate what you're doing with them Jews and them blacks, man. We appreciate you, buddy. One of my favorite clips. But what are you gonna do after we take this country back? Are you gonna leave? Nah, bro, I'm staying here with y'all. We bros, right? See, that's a problem with you fucking sand niggers. This country is for the white man. You think you can just stay here with us? They got Myron. Come on, man. Fuck, I heard all that racist shit, bro. But when he talking about black people in the same way, it's not racist. It's just them being right. I can't wait for you to have your day just like Myron, bro. Right? The only reason why they don't fuck with him, they fuck with you, because that nigga was running around with Klan hoodie on. He took it too far. To the point where white people couldn't even support this nigga. Same thing for Nick Fuentes, Klan hoodies, fucking Nazi tattoos. What are you gonna do? It's gonna push it too far, right? Tommy went too far. Fox News abandoned him. I'm waiting for you. It always happened, bro. And they gonna find another tap dancing nigga to come out of nowhere who's better suited, better booted. Maybe have a black wife in this situation. A white wife always help you with the white people, but them white boys don't like that deep down inside. Anyway, man.
Those are the things that Charlie Kirk was speaking about. He was doing an orgy the day before he gets assassinated.
You just argued that slavery was like a net positive for black people.
No, well, first of all, if you had any common sense, if you have any common sense, nobody said.
If you had any common sense, see, that's when I was at Central Michigan and I went to Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences. I was on the debates team for both. And you're not allowed to make ad hominems. You can't. You're not allowed to insult other debaters. That will result in you losing points that you will surely need when it's time to tally up to see who won at the very end. You have to make scholastic arguments. Otherwise, you're literally wasting time. Piers Morgan, you're allowing this. You know why you're allowing this? Because you agree. You agree. You're like a 50-year-old version of Fatty or something. But the English version. That's what he is. He's petty. He's spiteful.
He is.
Right?
He definitely is spiteful. And
I even say this. Fatty's more of a real nigga than him. Fatty wouldn't allow this shit to happen with Brandon Tatum. Say what you... I know my enemies. He will allow a lot of shit. A lot of goofy shit. But he don't allow no coon shit. Play one clip of that nigga allowing niggas over there talk about black people. When Pearl did that shit, he made an example out of her. Showed her with the black man. All kinds of shit. When Pearl went that Jazz, he took Jazz out on that one. I'm just saying, he knows he's black. No matter where the fuck he is. He's more of a real nigga than you are. Tatum? That's crazy.
Slavery was a net positive. I said black people's explosion of success after slavery was a testament to this country, the country's values, and how we were doing well. And now you look at the black community and it's failing. So you tell me how that's wrong.
Brandon,
economic
that was a violent leftist that killed Charlie, and they won't condemn it. They just won't condemn the violence. We can disagree.
Just one second.
You can disagree with Charlie.
Well, let me ask that question. Let me ask that question of Wajahat and Brian. Wajahat, do you condemn the violence that was perpetrated against Charlie Kirk and killed?
Yes. It was horrific. Nobody.
All of us do, bro. Again, I don't need to show this stuff on my wife because I don't think most people, especially black women, they don't have no, like, if I was a black woman, I'd say fuck Charlie Kirk too. But I tell you, bro, when he got shot, I still remember I was watching Drip Show. It only been 15, 20 people watching. That's not a diss. I'm just telling you, it was over there chilling. I'm working at Amazon. I got my other phone. I didn't get a notification. Charlie Kirk has been shot. I said, oh shit. Because when I came into YouTube, I remember Steven Crowder, way before Charlie, Steven Crowder was going around doing the fucking college tours. He get kicked off of YouTube because of the stuff that happened with his wife and him not giving her the keys while she was pregnant and the abuse claims. He get kicked off YouTube, right? They bring in Charlie Kirk. Next thing you know, unlike Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk had a black woman at that time. A black woman who we all know her name now. Candace fucking Owens. She came in just like Tatum, saying the same shit. Black people are the problem. Yeah, my man's Kirk right. If these black women stop pushing away the fathers, we won't have rampant single motherhood. Look at all the crime that's happening. Look at all the murders are happening. There's more black women killing babies now than that died in slavery in 100 years. All type of shit. I mean, they was running with it to the point where they got a presidential invite from President Trump himself.
His racist ass.
Exactly.
His racist ass.
Exactly. Sat down with him back in 2016. Go look at the footage. They had another young man that they was working with by the name of Ben Shapiro. You know him. Y'all know him. Y'all know that crew. They called the group that they created Turning Point USA. I still remember like it was yesterday. Websites, books, t-shirts, hats. Support Trump everywhere. Then MAGA happened. And more racism divided the fucking country. And the person who was at the forefront representing the voice of young men was Charlie fucking Kirk. And before you was there, because I'm telling you, they always replace y'all. That's why she's not the main coon right now. You are, right? Because eventually she started talking about the Epstein files. Oh, they can't have that. Just like Charlie talked about the Epstein files and got one to the neck. I'm trying to give you a history lesson. She was the main tap dancer back in the day for Charlie. He didn't even fuck with niggas. He never had a black man as his main side person. Never. Black man wasn't even a black man that was in control of Turning Point USA. Name one. Bro, y'all crazy, bro. Y'all be tap dancing and you only right here because Erica Kirk couldn't fuck with Candace no more because A, it was rumors of Charlie and Candace having a romance. B, Candace was coming out saying that Erica basically was fucking with JD Vance. Yeah. And ultimately, she claimed that Erica was behind potentially her husband being murdered because of the way she took over the company. The company made $20 million, which was more than it had ever made under Charlie. And the same week that he was getting buried, she threw a fucking concert with fireworks and all type of shit. Charlie Kirk was investigating the Epstein files. She don't even talk about that no more. And instead, she worked with Donald Trump to go against the NFL to have their own little fucking Super Bowl shit. What has she done to honor Charlie? Is she going around debating in his name? His talking points? What do we really know about Erica Kirk? Anyway.
But yes. I disagree with Charlie Kirk. But you know what? I'll give Charlie Kirk one credit. Charlie Kirk said what he said. He tweeted it. He put it on TikTok. He put it on YouTube. He stood 10 toes down. He goes, I'm saying all these hateful things, racist things like black people were better off during slavery. Here we go. I believe in this. Racist. I have the courage of my convictions. That's what I respect about Charlie Kirk. He said it. He didn't backtrack from it. What happened to him, which was a horrific murder, should be condemned because no one should be killed based upon their First Amendment right to free speech. So what was the motive? He was murdered, most likely, allegedly, by Tyler Robinson. He's the only suspect. For what Tyler Robinson, in part, was allegedly radicalized. He is a white man from a conservative family. He wasn't a radicalized white nationalist, which he's not a member of the radical left.
Hold on. I wish I knew your name right now, officer, with the suit. I wish I knew your name because I want to show you a certain amount of respect. I know you served in the armed forces. I respect that to a certain degree, but you crossing the fucking line right now. Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk in the fucking neck with a high-powered rifle.
Yeah.
The fuck you mean he wasn't radicalized? He knew how to take position, right? We're not talking about a regular kid here. I have regular kids in this fucking house now, right? My wife's son wouldn't know how to wake up at a certain time, make sure the gun is loaded. He wrote his name and all that shit on the bullets. Go take position, knowing what Charlie Kirk, which means he had intel. Knowing where Charlie Kirk would be at, predicting the weather, and knowing how to take that shot to the point where it's a one-shot gone. Some people still predicted that was a goddamn sniper. Because how the hell did a young man do something so accurately, and we had just saw somebody try to go for President Trump and fail so miserably? Trump up there going, and the only thing they said was he got snicked in the fucking ear. Allegedly. Because some people believe that was fake. It was fake. Shit was fake as hell.
Yeah, it was fake.
That shit was fake as hell. Charlie shit wasn't fake.
No, but if you want me to believe that the president was actually Pum and y'all just let it play out on TV, that would never happen.
Well, it happened with John F. Kennedy.
But
however,
different. That was assassination. He was out of the book. But I'm just saying now they would never let us know.
I'm going to argue this, right? What kind of person is coming for the president that's not completely trained? You know what you're up against.
Well, yeah.
You're not up because people are like, well, you up against the army. No, you up against every person that's like, nigga, anybody can go against you. If you go against the president, nigga, the sheriff, policeman, FBI, anybody can make an arrest on you. And at that point, you're done. You got to be really that nigga. You got to be Himothy. And I don't think that somebody had the president down their scope, they aiming at the ear. This is an old man. You can pop him anywhere. He falling.
No, I don't believe that.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, bro, my whole point is this. Charlie started fucking with Trump because Trump was a racist. And Trump, in all my years, I thought that George Bush was a racist. But he was just stupid.
Yeah, Bush was just stupid.
He didn't know what was good for black people. Because he didn't know shit,
Exactly.
But Trump, I've never seen somebody push racism in a way that Trump does. And because he don't say N words, let me tell you how you do it. He pushed white nationalism. Make America great again wasn't about us going forward. It was about taking America backwards to a time where white men were the dominant class, something that they know every single day where the sun and moon falls, they are losing power in this country. They know that. In 100 years, our sons will be ripe to take the country because they're not gonna have no power. That's a whole different conversation.
Play here.
And what Brandon is saying
is definitely a part of the radical left.
Brandon, I just want to go back to this. Brandon,
the motive is on the bullets. I
answered
the motive into the bullets he used to shoot Charlie.
Are you okay?
I answered the question. Let me ask this because I
want
said
he was a radicalized white. You didn't answer the question. You danced around it.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk, your friend, said you, as a black man, were better off during slavery. Do you agree with that statement?
100%. I understand what he.
Do you agree?
A radicalized white. You didn't answer the question. You danced around it.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk, your friend, said you, as a black man, were better off during slavery. Do you agree with that statement?
100%. I understand what he was saying. I just articulated.
Do you agree with it?
The perspective that he had. Just because you don't understand history and you look at everything in the lens as black people are the ultimate victims in perpetuity, don't mean that Charlie Kirk can have an expression of something I agree with him on. Now you're here sitting here trying to tell a black man that I can't agree with Charlie Kirk on the fact that I think that black people were in a better trajectory when we were in the 30s
during
after
slavery.
He said during slavery. You're lying. He said after slavery.
You were better off during slavery.
No, he did not. Show me the proof, and I'll give you $1,000.
All right, let's go.
Deal.
He said, all right, though. He said, all right.
Yeah, but I had the clip as well. So I want the $1,000 too. Right? Because Piers Morgan didn't allow him to play the clip. Because Piers Morgan is a coward. But here we go. And this is also the young lady I told Taz about. Taz was like, why is this girl getting multiple opportunities on Jubilee? I tell Taz, she works for Jubilee. She's a content creator. She's always there. Her name is Naima. She's been debating, she's been debating conservative men on there as a black woman, but she's biracial. That's just the facts.
It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 Black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation. But I guess,
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid.
Nah, there's a full version where Charlie break down why black people were better in the 30s and the 40s and the 20s and after slavery and during slavery, because the stats were low. You know what else was low? Black ownership. Black people going to school, getting education. You know what else was low? How many black billionaires and millionaires and people who made over 100K we got compared to now? Charlie, could we have a Kaiser net back in the 30s? No, because they would never allow, when I say they, white parents would never allow their white children to idolize a black boy so much they would, what's the right word? Patronize him. Make him a millionaire while millions of little white kids grow around living inside fucking trailer parks. And he's driving around in a Lamborghini truck, getting money off literally white people, just like DDD and every other mainstream streamer. What, you think it's black people keeping their bills paid? And niggas making $50 million a month altogether. It's y'all kids. Don't get me started on Sneeko and Andrew Tate. Remember that? Fuck the woman, fuck the trans. Yeah. Y'all kids. It's y'all kids, bro. It's y'all kids that's patronizing clavicular or clav. The nigga who beat his face with a fucking hammer. That's y'all kids, gang. I would never, if I can imagine if I see one of our kids in there, look Maxon.
Yeah, like.
I couldn't believe. I thought the Mansford was done. Y'all made it look Maxon. Ah, man, let me wrap up this whole shit with Tatum, man. We about to be on your ass, boy, like white on rice.
Ain't no way in the world Charlie said we're better in slavery. He said after slavery. It's a whole sentiment around it. And black people understand this. History reflects this. Thomas Sowell expressed.
I don't understand it.
I don't either.
There was no way somebody like a DDG would have YouTube because they didn't allow black people to go to school back then. No black person was better off in the 1930s compared to now.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Don't get me started on women's rights. Don't get me started on the brutality that they had to suffer. Don't get me started. Because this guy is nice. I'm not nice. I'm fair. So I'm gonna ask my wife this. Let's say if Tatum came here and debated me and he said, Darrel, black people was better off in the 30s. And I said, okay, Tatum, you're right. Okay, yeah. But let me give you an example. If I transport you and your wife right now, you and your white wife, back to Mississippi 1931 on a Sunday, fresh after church. Matter of fact, I do you a favor because you a God-fearing man, right? I'm going to transport you in the church in Mississippi, right? 1932. Are you going to be better off or worse off?
That's That's what I'm saying. Like,
what do you think about that? What do you think about that? It's rhetorical.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. You know, you're not safe in the 1930s as a Black person.
Yeah, nah.
Period. You're not safe.
You wouldn't make it out of
yeah, no. And then you have a,
she would make it out of Mississippi.
Yeah, because they're gonna harm her as well.
Correct.
Yeah. No, you're not safe, and you know that, because you can't even be seen with her, talking to her, walking to her, looking at her. Like, there's so many things you cannot do.
It's over, gang.
You shouldn't even be in the same area as where she is.
Remember Melody and Tiffany went to go look for their history, and the girl grew up in Alabama.
Yeah.
And she found out her white mama was messing with a Black man, and they didn't know what happened to her with her father, because remember what the historian guy said? Hey, back in those days, this is basically a sundown town. That type of stuff was, he said, frowned upon, but you know what he meant. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be something that would be okay in our town. AKA, you would be worse off. You wouldn't be allowed to even to love who you wanted to love. You love a white woman. I don't care about that, but they would. See, if you put me in 1930 and you had a white woman, I still wouldn't care. But the people around you right now, they ancestors,
they care.
Boy, you will be in trouble. Trouble. Major trouble. You don't believe me? I'm gonna wrap this up, and we're gonna, because, babe, do you know about the story of Yusef Hawkins?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
He was interested in some woman. She wasn't Black, and he was over in the wrong neighborhood where she was or something. He got caught at the train, and they like beat him down. And he was unalive.
Yusuf, he had that little spark in him. He inspired his brothers. I saw it early on. My cousin's going places.
People in this post-Obama era want to look at New York in the 80s and 90s in the lens of today, don't quite understand that the racial divisions were over the top.
Bensonhurst made people say, New York is like that.
As he stopped, a bunch of white guys came around the corner, surrounded us.
Next thing I know, I hear gunshots.
David Avenue and 20th Avenue. Somebody just got shot. A bunch of white boys just shot a Black guy.
I gotta ask you flat out, who killed Yusef Hawkins?
It wasn't my friends, and it wasn't me.
My son has been tried and executed only because of the color of his skin.
This should have never happened.
They evaluate the evidence, they'll realize it wasn't a racial case.
You'd have to be stupid to not determine that there was a racist element.
Martin Luther King used to say, make the comfortable uncomfortable and make the uncomfortable comfortable.
Amen.
So I said, we should march in that neighborhood.
They did not want us there, and they made that known.
It's like unbelievable how people acted out.
We're not just gonna go away quietly.
We will be back, and that is a fact. One more win has taken us.
It hurt. My brothers definitely went down. People was yelling out his name.
For those who don't know, I'll give you a brief recap, because I know about the story. I actually first heard about this story from if you guys ever read Tupac poetry book, A Rose That Grew from the Concrete. He talked about how, because you know Tupac was alive at this time, talked about how that impacted him. He grew up in New York City, right down the street from this shit. So he would be around all of this shit while it's happening. At the same time, the drug game is happening, right? Crack era is happening, right? It's the 80s. Yusef Hawkins fell in love with a young lady that lived in Bensonhurst, New York, which is a part of Brooklyn that belongs to basically at that time the Italians. He fell in love with an Italian girl. He go out there with his best friend. Best friend survived, who was on a video describing what happened. He go out there, he meet an Italian girl. Get off the train. The moment he get off the train, hug the Italian girl, about 15 Italian niggas pull up. They beat the shit out of him first in front of the girl, and then they shoot him in his chest, directly in his fucking chest one time. He died. Right? A lot of people don't talk about how racist New York is to this day. Like, people say Chicago is the most segregated city. No, it's not. New York City is. New York City. New York City is one of, I would say, it's the most racist part of the North. Easily. Think about it like this. I'm gonna ask my wife this question. Name the part of New York that black people built. Name the part of New York that's predominantly black.
I can't really say. If I had to choose, maybe.
Name the New York culture outside of rap.
Okay, outside of rap.
Outside of hip hop that goes back to black people that's tied to New York. Let me ask you a different question. Can you name any major building in New York that was built by immigrants?
Oh, Union Station was built by immigrants.
Every fucking.
I mean, Union Station, but everything. Like, they came across on Ellis Island. Like, the Italians came in from Sicily.
Niggas ran
everything. Irish people came in. Germans people came in. Like, of all, yeah. And a lot of the poor came from those.
Hip hop is the biggest thing that black people ever did out of New York. Jay-Z, Puffy, Big, Pac.
Yeah,
that's
like,
the biggest thing that black people's ever done in New York City. Ever.
I don't really know anything about what New York is known for.
Hip hop.
Besides, like, fashion.
Hip hop.
I guess would be the, yeah.
Rakim and Eric B. Gold Chains. They created culture. That's all they created.
Okay, I know.
That's it. Now, I give niggas credit for the Harlem Renaissance, but ask people who own that now. Nah, niggas. My whole point is this, bro. There's always going to be a racial element in this country. And at that point, black people were still sticking together. At some point, they wasn't able to put an Anton Daniels in front of us and we just all just forget about who the fuck we are. But now they can. And it's dangerous, right? I believe, I'm gonna say this in a video because I'm gonna have to edit this and it's very fucking long, unfortunately. So it's not gonna get put out today. But I will say this. I believe Charlie Kirk served the purpose, and when he didn't serve the purpose no more, they got rid of him. I genuinely believe that. I don't think Charlie Kirk should have been murdered. But what people saying that he got murdered for his voice, nobody should get murdered for how they feel as far as they talking point, right? He wasn't talking about raping children. He wasn't talking about sex trafficking. He was somebody who was extremely, I don't want to use the word conditioned because he wasn't conditioned at all. He wasn't beaten to feel this way. But he was definitely indoctrinated in white supremacy, and he was indoctrinated in black inferiority. Those are his two main talking points. He would trust a black pilot. Nope. He would trust a white pilot. Yep. He's not going off credentials. He's just talking about superiority based on race. That's what made him a racist. Literally. That's my thoughts. Babe. Close out.
Well, my final thoughts would be that sometimes people think it's worth it to come out here and spill these talking points because being with the other side is so much more important for whatever reason. Sometimes I think that maybe they're doing it because they have no other options, or they want to be part of the popular crew, or they feel like they want to be part of the winning team. I don't know, but we'll all be here. So, bye, you guys.
Thank you.